Hey everybody, this is Seth Kniep, Keeping It Real. Today is a very special day. We've never done this before. Looking forward to this for a while. Many of you guys have emailed about it. Today is a 2-hour training webinar with some of the most amazing people on the earth. To become a Just One Dime coach, they have almost every day I have someone asking me, can I become part of Just One Dime leadership today? So to become a coach is not easy, and it is a huge honor. People that I trust, people who are succeeding on Amazon, people who are teachable. They don't need someone to stroke their ego to make them feel okay. They want to serve. They want to help people succeed, and they know how to make money. So right now, you are looking at a board of people, a panel of people whom I highly respect. I say this with complete sincerity. I would trust these people with my money. Let me give you an example of this. So let's say one of these coaches needed to send them money in a different way so they could get it transferred so it doesn't go through PayPal for a certain reason. I am doing this kind of stuff. We'll do that. That's trusting with your money. It doesn't matter what the amount is. Trust them with my kids. They're not anymore. They're all big and older now. But if I needed a babysitter, I would trust them with my kids. This way is you would trust someone is with your family and with your money, because both are very personal. So those are the kind of coaches. These people are not just people who are succeeding and crushing on Amazon, who care. And they will tell you the truth. And some things they say you may not like. And it's not because they want to hurt you, but we believe in truth and being real with people. That's why we have this phrase called keeping it real. And by the way, you pronounce my last name because no one knows how to unless they hear me say that. It's so important to succeeding. We don't want to be one of those flowery, oh, do this in 3 steps and you become super successful kind of coaching companies. That's not who we are. People how to succeed online, and specifically with the focus on Amazon. So I want to thank everyone here, Christine, Dan, Danilo, David, Saad, and Susan for being here today. This is a badass team, and you guys are in for a real treat right now. Now, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to ask a series of questions put together primarily by Susan. Thank you so much. She's really good at just taking data and into a very succinct form. And there's some of the most important questions you'd ask. In fact, if I could 3 years ago, coaches these questions back then they are today, that would have been a gift. This training is 100% free. There's no charge for this. We offer a ton of free training. If you decide to join the Just One Dime team today, you will get $50 off the first payment for the silver plan. And the silver plan includes coaching face-to-face, one-on-one with one of these coaches every single month, as well as 4 hours every week of live training. Just this morning, one of the people on our team posted on our Facebook group, our private Facebook group, he won the Seller's Choice badge from Amazon. Amazon's Choice. Amazon took this listing and awarded it with that little badge. How did that happen? This guy had no experience in Amazon before coming and joining this team. Yet today, he's going up, 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 and he's learning how to crush it. It's extremely hard to get that badge. I'm proud of that. I can boast about these coaches because they helped him get to that point. Guys, second announcement before we start. We're also providing a product. It's a way to evaluate your research. For those of you guys who are extreme thinkers and you analyze like crazy and you think and you think and you think and you think, and when you think you're ready to make a decision, you need to think more. I'm not moving, I'm just studying. I'm like a student, but I'm not a doer. I'm a wantrepreneur, but I'm not an entrepreneur. Created, and it's free, and it's in the notes below. If you click on it, you get it for free. Evaluate your product research. So you know, am I actually making a good decision or not? It forces the facts to tell you make instead of just going off of a gut feeling. Now, entrepreneurial gut and instinct are very important. I don't want to downplay that. But for those of you guys who struggle with analysis, paralysis, until you are mentally constipated, this tool will really, really help you. So you're free to get access to that tool right now. If you click on the link below, it'll give it to you. Just put in your name, email, and boom, our system will automatically send it to you. And as you guys know, we never do anything with your information. We never sell it. The only thing we use it for is telling you about things like this, which is why I sent out an email today and a few days ago. All right, so welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to jump into the first question for anyone here. Did you choose to get involved in this kind of business? Why did you choose?
Man, that's an easy question. Come on. Is that for real the first question? That's too easy, man. Come on.
Trust me, they're going to have the questions to stump you coming out later on. They get worse and worse and worse and harder.
Man, I mean, personally, I come from, a different type of business, restaurant business. I used to work in the restaurant like 13, 14 hours a day. And my motivation was freedom. I wanted to spend time with my family, my son, do the things that I wanted whenever I wanted, travel, whatever thing I wanted to do. I didn't need to ask my boss 6 months in advance, hey, can you give me like 2 weeks off in 6 months or whatever? So that was my biggest motivation. And I knew that this type of business could take me to that level. And that was, definitely my personal biggest motivation, family and freedom, time.
Okay, I'll jump in. I'm a designer, a creative director for many beauty brands and photography brands. And in the past, I helped many clients that would hire me to create a brand for them or to rebrand their existing brand and to bring in more clients and pretty much to make their, packaging, campaign, photography, all of their collateral, more beautiful, more attractive. And I realized that as much as I enjoy doing that, it was making somebody else richer. And it wasn't really making a difference for me other than, building my portfolio. But I was working more hours every year, just like Danilo said, and it wasn't taking me anywhere. My relationship and my family was suffering. My health was suffering. I realized that I needed to make a change. And what was the point of, all the knowledge I had, and it wasn't putting it to good use for my benefit. It was helping someone else. And that someone else wasn't always appreciative of my work, hence boss. So I decided to sell on Amazon and sell on eBay and different platforms and start creating a brand. I created a product and I branded the product and created a website, the logo, the packaging, everything. And I super enjoyed that part because it was something for myself that I could see grow. And as I see every member, posting their launches and creating the logo and every step that they take, I enjoy that because it just makes me feel like, you guys are growing a little seed and making it, bigger and more successful. And I'm super proud to be part of that.
All right. So, sorry. So actually, it's me, Saad. Actually, my why was actually my family, my wife and my 2 daughters. When I started that, actually by trade, I'm a mechanical engineering technologist and a draftman. I used to have a very good job. I used to travel 2 to 3 weeks out of the month, but it used to be very hard for me to leave my family away. So I decided to do something with my some other alternatives. So I was looking into how to make money with my pickup truck when I first started, and everyone goes on YouTube. And then I actually went ahead and for some reason brought me to Amazon FBA. I had no experience in Amazon at all. I never bought anything from Amazon, which was very weird. But I know I had the will, I had the work ethics that I really wanted to do it. So I started looking into it a lot, but I was always stuck at the analysis paralysis stage. I had so many products, but I never did anything with them. So I was like, hey, let me start retail arbitrage. So I started retail arbitrage, started to get to know a little bit the business. The first month or two, I didn't do well. But after that, 3 months, I made up to $38,000. I was like, oh, there's something here. And then for one day, I was actually was watching YouTube's all channels, and then I see a guy called Seth on the channel. I was like, oh, let me listen to this guy. Let's see what he says. And right away, as soon as I saw the first video, I right away connected. I was like, oh, this guy's genuine. I actually called you, and I called Seth. I was like, hey, I would like to join, but I would like to know if you're the real thing. And we had a meeting right away. I was driving, and you called me, and you were cooking at that time, breakfast.
I was making pancakes.
Yeah.
I was making pancakes. I remember protein pancakes.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, man, let me know. I'll get in. Let me see what's up. And I get in, and actually, you told me you're gonna kick my apple, and that's what really encouraged me. And you kicked my apple, and never since then I never actually looked back. And that's my I'm very grateful to be a part of this community, to be kicked by you actually. And yeah, it never been any better. I quit my job a long time ago, and it's my main source of income. So thank you so much.
Well, in my case, hi guys, I'm David. I'm from Cuba. As an immigrant coming from a very poor country, you hear stories all the time. Hey, let's go to the States. I mean, salaries about $8 per hour, and when you hear $8 per hour in Cuba, you go, oh my God, I'm gonna be rich. And then when you got here, you find the reality: $8 per hour, not even $20 per hour is just not enough. And then I was working 2 different jobs, McDonald's, TJ Maxx. It was really hard and was not going anywhere. And then one day I decided to change my life, and I typed how to make money in the internet, and that's how I find my other business, which is Google AdSense, and it changed my life. It took me 3 years to quit my job, and it took me 6 months to earn my first $100. It's just crazy. You have to work so hard, so much for 6 months to get $100 check. It's really hard. But after that month, I mean, I never stopped. I never looked back again. And then, my other businesses are struggling a little bit, and I decided to make a change. I identified the potential of Amazon. Amazon is a future. What is happening right now with Amazon is something unique, revolutionary, transcendent. It's just the world is changing to a different direction. And I met Seth. We talked. I joined. And here I am now. No long ago, I have a conversation with Seth. I mean, he can tell. And I told him, brother, I'm scared. I mean, I never earned so much money in my life. I'm afraid to take the wrong decisions. But that's how it is. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy now. I mean, yesterday I went to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning, and today I woke up and I met my new Diamond member. So it's a lot going on, but we all have a mission, and that mission is just a better life for us, for our family, and that's most of us here on this panel. We're doing just that now.
So hi guys, I'm Dan. Can you hear me fine? Okay, great. And I'm from South Africa. I just thought let me jump in there after David because I connect quite well with that story as well. Basically, I used to do a little bit of affiliate marketing as well on the side, and that's what I would do. I actually was part of Amazon Associates for a while. And as David was saying, that took a really long time. It would be building up websites or whatever it was to actually earn affiliate commissions, like David was saying, like $100 check or something like that. And after struggling with that for quite a while, and a few other business models, it was really that I came across Seth as well on YouTube. And similarly to Saad, I felt the same way. Just after seeing one video, I was like, I felt just a good connection with it. I felt Seth was really genuine. And from there, just signed up and loved the course the whole way through, to the point. I did have a rough start though, coming from South Africa. I'll just add that as well. If you're doing this from outside of an Amazon marketplace, it can be quite tough. But it was something I really, really wanted to do, especially after watching all of the videos and seeing everyone involved with it. It was something I really wanted to make happen. And eventually we got through that first hurdle, and the rest has just been brilliant. It's been really a lot of fun, and I'm really appreciative to be part of the coaching program and to work with all the people here. And yeah, it's just been brilliant. So thank you all.
My story is a little bit different how I came to this. I had no idea any of this was going on. And I had actually coached with Seth on another type of marketing thing for my consulting business. And he had mentioned this Amazon thing to me, and I kind of went, nah, whatever. And, you know, and then, you know, and he, you know, mentioned it again. And I thought to myself, but I'm building a business, but that's not my business. My business is my consulting business, and that's what I'm working on. And I don't sell things. I don't have a retail background or really any interest in that. So eventually, Seth intrigued me enough to give it a try. And at that time, we didn't have a group. Seth was just doing one-on-one coaching. So I signed up for a batch of sessions with him. And we went through it, and then the group formed. And when I joined the group, there were probably about 10 people. And it was amazing to see how quickly all the people came in. Because at first I thought, oh, great, 10 people. How much chatter is going to go on in here? What am I going to learn from this? But first of all, those are 10 of the chattiest people you've ever met. And secondly, it grew very, very quickly. And actually, as I went through the process, and then when I first started to make some sales, I became incredibly intrigued. And what I realized is that this is my business, because business is my business. And before this, I was a management consultant, and I consulted with business owners and CEOs on some of the same principles of how to market your company, because we always had to back up and talk about, well, where's your profit margin? What service is the greatest margin? Let's focus on that. You know, how is your staff set up to support extra work? So basically putting together the structure of a business. And with Amazon, I get to put together the structure of a business. I don't want to say all by myself, because I have the help of this whole team, but I'm doing it for myself, and I am making those ultimate decisions. And it is very satisfying. I'm glad that I'm here.
What I'm going to do is ask this question, because it's so important, and anyone is feel free to answer the question. What has been the hardest part for you selling on Amazon? What has been the biggest challenge? And second to that, how did you get through that challenge? We have 5 people right now watching, and they're saying, okay, or I'm struggling, help me out here. I bet you some of the answers you guys hear are going to relate to your situation. So anyone, what has been the biggest challenge, and how did you work through that challenge? What did you learn in the process? Because if we know anything, being an entrepreneur is hard. Entrepreneur and make a lot of money and build margin for myself and those I love, and have the security of a consistent paycheck and the benefits and the medical insurance and all that, little tiny 2% raises every year, and I'm building someone else's dream I love. And being able to build something for myself and my family that, you know, 100 years from now, long after I'm dead, it's impacting people positively still later on. So what would that be for you guys, and how did you work through it?
So I would say the transition, the moment that you realize that you want to do this type of business, you want to follow this path, but you're still working your older job, like every day, hustling, you know, so many hours per day, but you got to build something different, something new. Then it's going to take time that you don't have. So that was for me the biggest struggle. I had to work. I would come back like at night, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and work until like 4 o'clock in the morning on Amazon, just to learn how, you know, you work, how to set up business, whatever, store. My only day off was on Monday. So Monday I was working on Amazon the whole day. And that was like the toughest part. Like those 6 months, actually even longer than that, the toughest moment, you know, the transition between the older job and the new type of business. It's the, like, you got to really hang tight in that period of time, because it's going to be the toughest part for me. And, but if you want to do this, you got to be willing to put the work and time and extra time into it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So definitely the transition for me, brother.
I'm going to take a moment. Thank you for that, Danilo. I'm going to introduce Amanda. Amanda joined Just One Dime a while back ago. She could tell you more about this. But what we're doing is, as we do this webinar training, we're bringing in different Just One Dime guests into this community to talk about what they're learning. So we don't want it just to be, you know, a coach perspective. Well, here are the coaches, and they got it all figured out. Not to mention Amanda is becoming a coach very fast, very soon, which is exciting. But she has helped her team in so many ways, answering questions, giving people feedback. But at the same time, she's been kicking butt in retail arbitrage, and she's working on private label. So Amanda, what has been the biggest challenge for you through that challenge, selling on Amazon?
Hi. I think my biggest challenge has been money to start with, which is why I went from private label to retail arbitrage. And in that time, I made so much money on doing retail arbitrage that I was able to take that and apply it to the private label. And just this morning, I looked at my statistics from, what, April 1st until today, and it's $20,000. And there's this huge gap, you know, from the beginning of April until, I want to say June, July, where I made 14,000 of that 20,000. And that's what I applied to launch my private label this week. So it's just been a matter of putting my finances, you know, where they need to be at the times that they're available. That's the hardest thing.
And guys, this is what I love about selling online is there's no limit, there's no cap to how much money you can make. Amazon won't go, oh, okay, that's enough, stop, gotta wait till next year. A regular job, yeah, there's always a cap, there's always a limit. But when you're working for yourself, there's no limit. The more you sell, the more you make. And you can put your money back into the business and scale it that way. I've made with Amazon partners where we'll go together on an Amazon business is we don't touch the money until the total revenue is $100,000 a month. We don't touch it. That forces us to think long-term. Now, at the beginning, yeah, you're going, I made 500, that is awesome. To go from 0 to 500 a month, that's insane, 500% growth. But then when you get 1,000, then 2,000, 3,000, you start realizing, wait a minute, anymore. I can fire my boss. In fact, that's one of my favorite posts in our community is when someone says, hey, everyone, guess what I just did? I fired my boss. We even thought about getting people to share stories on your boss. We thought, wait a minute, that could become an HR issue. We got to be careful here. But I was still so tempted to ask people that question. Very cool. Okay, so next question. In fact, I want to introduce Dory, or if you want to come on video now. Dory also is a Just One Guy member today. Dory, what has been the greatest joy or the greatest success you've seen being here in this community, selling on Amazon? What has been the most encouraging thing? Travel is very difficult but rewarding journey.
Well, hi everyone. First of all, I joined this coaching program, I think in June. I think the greatest thing I've seen is the community. There is like a fountain of knowledge everywhere, and you can find whatever you really need to succeed. Many times when you cannot fix the sink with a screwdriver alone. You have to have the right tools for the job. And I think that in this program, you get the right tools, the right people, the right mindset of the people around you. And this, for me, is the biggest asset.
When you say right mindset, Dory, expound on that a little bit. So what is that? Because, you know, in some places or locations, people just say, oh, just be positive no matter what, pretend like everything's wonderful. That's one extreme. Then the other extreme, and you see this in some Facebook groups, where someone says something, them like sharks, like, what did they do wrong? They just asked a question, you know? So what does that look like practically when you're in this community for you, man?
Well, just as you said, the shark behavior or the too compassionate behavior, I don't know. Here it's real. It's very real. That's it. It's no games, no petting, no kicking, no nothing. You just get the real things that you need to succeed. If you're making a mistake, a person is coming and telling you are making a mistake. If you did something good, a person is coming, many people come and tell you that you did very good. I mean, what better can you ask for? It's worth beyond every penny that you put in this coaching program. you cannot quantify it with money only.
I love that comment. You can't quantify it with money. You know, most people, when they hear the word profit or they hear margin or they hear resources or assets, what do we first think of? An S with 2 lines through it. We think of money. We think of cha-ching. And that is an important asset. But remember, the reason I started Amazon was not simply because I wanted to be rich. And I had to get through work issues there, like, oh, is it wrong? Is it evil? Is it ungodly to be rich? And I had to work through, like, wait a minute. That's not wrong. The question is my motive. But there are other assets too. You make money so you have time, so you have margin, so you can go out and do things that you really want to do. I don't think anyone sells on Amazon for the simple goal. Man, I just have always, ever since I was a little baby, I said, I want to sell on Amazon. That's my goal in life. No way. It is a means to an end. Things, work on your hobbies, build your other businesses, have time with your loved ones and those kinds of things. Have time to be healthy, to be able to go to the gym, to be able to take your spouse on a date. Okay, several people have asked questions in this group right now, and I'm just going to ask anyone to answer who wants to. And the most common question I'm hearing is this. Coaches, help me out here. I have a listing, but it's not selling well. It's selling 1 to 2 times a day. Now, I understand you guys can't see the listing, but what strategy, be super tactical and practical here, would you teach them so they can find out what the problem is and why the listing isn't selling fast?
I'll jump in that. I think, Seth, the first thing that you need to do for a product that's slow, you need to do listing optimization. Listing optimization, it means that you actually need to optimize your listing with all the high volume converting keywords or search terms. So you're going to start first with your title, your bullet points, your description, and don't forget your images, which is the most important part of it. If any keyword that you would like to rank for or want it to be indexed very quickly, I think you have to have them in the title and have them in the beginning of the title and start fading with the keywords or the search terms that you want, the one that you want to target. And then you're going to have them in your bullet points. Your bullet points has to have at least 5 to 7 main keywords that you would like to target. You will know through the PPC how expensive is this keyword. Is it expensive or low or cheap? So if it doesn't make sense, few of the keywords, you run the PC campaign and you think it's too expensive, I think you should get rid of it. Find another search terms that you can replace it with. Don't make huge changes to the title. It might really hurt you because Amazon needs to reindex everything. So this is for search terms, and also your backend. Backend keywords has to be optimized. Don't stuff your backend. Make sure it's up to 250. I think each line has to be 200. The most important ones in the first line, then the second line, the third line, then the fourth and the fifth. And most important, and also what's very important, I think you need to work on your pictures. You have 9 spots, 7 of them that are showing. 2 of them they're going to be hidden. So those 7, use them very wisely. Make sure that you really give them the huge experience of the product, because they just see it. So you want to through them seeing it, actually they can touch it. So have a spec picture, have lifestyle photos. The main picture, make it clean. Don't stuff too much. Don't make it busy. Let people really inviting people to click on it. And if you have enhanced brand content, if you have a trademark or you have a brand registry, I think you should use enhanced brand content very well and be able to express more photos and more features of the product.
Okay, so I'm gonna summarize that, and it's very helpful. So then I have a follow-up question for you, brother. So you talked about copy, so the title, the bullet points, the product description, and then you talked about photos being excellent. And I like how you said as if you could reach out and touch it. In case I can't touch it, I can't spell it, I can't feel it in real life. So my only way to be sold on this is I have to see it on a screen and be convinced by everything I see that it is worth buying. I love that. If my listing is optimized enough to figure out, okay, you do have the great copy, you do have excellent keywords, your photos are excellent, I need some kind of reference point, something to compare it to, because I agree 100%, yes, but how? People, they have their listing, they'll send it to me and say, hey, what do you think? And they think it's wonderful, and I think it's terrible. A different standard to measure it by. How do you do that, brother?
little bit cutting with me, but if I understood, it's basically how do you know if your copy is good? Am I correct? Yes. So basically, what I would do, I'll really let other people see my copy and give me their opinion, especially like the coaches. They're very helpful to be able to give me their feedback. But actually, what I do, I use, like, for example, another keyword tool dominator. I use another search keyword search engines where I can find the most relative keywords, and I can put them on the title or the bullet points and description. So that's how I would do it. And same time, especially photos, I think you need multiple eyes to look at them, because if what looks good to you, it might look really, really awful. So you need a second opinion all the time. I would actually sometimes is kind of spying on my bestsellers or my competition. I actually go look at them, look at their title, look what kind of keywords, because they've been already there. That means they already went through the PPC. They went through all the struggles. So their title, the bestsellers, usually they're not dummies. They're actually smart people. So you're gonna see their title, see how many keywords in there, and try to reuse them or rearrange them, and you'll be able to have a very successful title. And the images also as well, you can take some ideas from them and add your own spin. Differentiation, which is very important.
And tell me, guys, if you can't hear, can you hear me right now as I speak, guys, or am I cut out?
Now it's good.
Yes, I can.
All right, now let me know, and thank you. Sorry, guys, I don't know why it's cutting out. I went and made sure no other internet device is being used right now. So what you're saying then is, I'm going to look at all the top sellers opposed to mine. Mine needs to look the best. Now, here's another question. Someone else jump in. Let's say I have the best looking listing on earth. It's amazing today. What's my problem? Not selling. Go ahead.
I mean, I think the answer in this case could be very simple. Sometimes people fail to do a very good product research and a very good market research, and they create a great product, a great listing, and then later found out that the actual numbers and the demand on the market doesn't really support more than 1 or 2 or 3 sales per day. So it's kind of like the opposite thing. You should be researching first the market and make sure that you're going to be able to make a good amount of sales, and then optimize the rest of the listing and everything. Because if you realize that later, and the market cannot give you more than 1 or 2 or 3 sales per day, even if you create the best listing in the world, it just wastes some time. You're going to have to launch a new product and make sure that market is going to be good, with a good potential that can give you good numbers. So definitely make sure the actual market can give you what you're looking for.
I'm going to do something, guys, and I'm going to speak slowly to make sure you guys can hear me. I'm going to find out why I am cutting out, and if I have to resort to sign language and pictures that I hold up, I'll do that. But did you hear what Danilo said? You need to know there's demand, not demand. You're making a nice meal, Titanic. Go ahead, Brother David.
Yeah, what Danilo says is right on point. The other day you shared a video, which I believe was a masterpiece, when you share how people, when you go to report, you can see how people react to your listing based on the traffic. So those numbers never lie. So based on those numbers, you need to act. Sometimes, as Danilo says, it's just a product. So, and some people, they will compare, oh, my PPC is not working. Again, the real PPC campaign, the best PPC campaign, start when you start reaching for your product, when you pick your product. So this is a complete process. Sometimes people create beautiful listings, they look amazing, nothing that you can do about it. But the product is just not good enough. It's just not better than the competition, maybe price and maybe reviews. So you need to start tweaking all those points until you get to to the place that you want to be. Yeah.
To do something, I'm going to share my screen just for a moment. This is my opportunity to brag on the coaches. This morning I just said, hey, send me some screenshots. They screenshotted it, sent it over to me. I want you to see what they are doing. Give me one moment. At least you can see. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. You can see 3,000. Can you guys see this right now? So you can see 3,888 orders. The beginning of the year to 10, 56,000. From the beginning of the year to October 12th, 166,000. Even if it was 10% profit margin, and I know for a fact it's a lot better than that, You can see here, another one, again, so far this year. And you can compare last year down here to this year. This Just When I'm Coach did 46,000. So far this year, 103,000. The year's not even over yet. Usually in the last quarter, you can do sometimes double what you did the rest of the year. So imagine doubling this number by the end of the year. Now, the reason I share this, comfortable bragging on other people, it's easier to do that than to brag on yourself. These coaches know what they're talking about, which is on our Just One Dime team. You succeed. They know what they're doing. They're making money. They're fired their boss. They have multiple businesses. And this isn't all of their only streams of income as well. Other streams of income too. They're entrepreneurs. They're serial entrepreneurs. So I just wanted to take a moment to brag on these awesome coaches. Okay, Dory, and thank you for being here. Before you guys go, what advice would you give to everyone watching right now? We have 187 people watching at this moment. What feedback or advice would you give them? Anything at all. Go for it.
Shall I start? Okay, thank you. No, ladies first. Sorry. Ladies first.
And a gentleman.
Okay, if you insist. Thank you. I think the biggest thing that people hurdle at is actually starting. And I think you just have to make a start. Just do it. Just watch a video. Just move forward. No matter how small that forward is, just keep going forward. And you'll get there because it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay, my best advice would be, if you want to climb the Everest, you should take a person that was on the Everest and succeeded a few times, not only once, and have the right tools for it. And I think really that in this program, you can get everything you need to succeed. Of course, it's up to you, but you will get everything you need, all the tools you need, all the strength you need to succeed and be very successful. I think it's very easy to be unsuccessful, and it's also very easy to be successful. That's my opinion. It's just a different mindset, and when you are tuning into the right mindset and have the right tools, have people that with proofs, then you can, there is no limit. That's it. Thank you.
And our guests are saying thank you, Amanda, for that super helpful advice, and thank you, Dory. And Dory, you're a gentleman. Thank you so much, Amanda and Dory, for being here today. They're just two examples of, and I want to share this one last thought before you guys close out your Google Hangout, Dory and Amanda, so we can bring in other people. One last thought on this. An entrepreneur mindset oftentimes is, I'm going to do it alone. And that kind of thinking is very natural and good for an entrepreneur. Is if you try to do it alone, you will not succeed as fast, guaranteed. I got this covered. Pride, get over your stupid pride. Have to be ours. Find someone and work with people. Let them speak truth into your life and tell you that your photo sucks, so you can actually get it better and make money. Because you can either hold on to your pride or you can hold on to success, but you can't have both long term. It doesn't work. Working with people requires vulnerability and humility, and when you do that, you win. Then when you're having a hard day, they help you out. Or you need feedback, they help you out, and that's the beautiful part of being in a community. Thank you so much, Amanda and Dory, for being here today. Just close out your Google Hangout. That way other people can hop in as we get more guests. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the next question, and anyone feel free to answer this. How did you choose your first product before AmazeOwl? As many of you guys know, AmazeOwl is our favorite product research tool. We love AmazeOwl. Amazing tool. How did you guys find your product for AmazeOwl here?
Well, I think as many Amazon sellers still do, I started with using Jungle Scout before I got to know AmazeOwl and the different type of numbers and data that can give you. I was just like trying to find products, but like since the data wasn't very deep, I still needed to go, over to Amazon and go like use different tools like Camel, or like keep an account to look at the history, look at the sales, try to figure out if it was a good product or not. And connecting to what you said before, you want to do everything by yourself, right? But then it takes longer. It took me 8 months to find the first product to sell. It was like an extra long time, right? And now it's something that I can do, like, in a month I can actually find a new product because we have different tools. We know how to use these tools. AmazeOwl, it's amazing. We have like tools that can give you exactly what we need when it comes to data. But man, it was tough. Like it took me literally 8 months to find my first product and to launch it. Just because I wanted to do it myself. I didn't know what to look at, how to use that data. But definitely that's how I started, man.
And Seth, I'll also jump in on that one. We actually didn't have AmazeOwl for even long in the UK, in the Europe marketplaces, and we actually used to basically do, well, the method I would use was looking at the best sellers list and then actually your like movers and shakers and doing it manually on Amazon. And then you'll scroll through those lists with like criteria, obviously in terms of your weight and your reviews, but basically doing it all manually on the site and then looking at things like when you type in the main keyword, how many pages of competitors would there be? So it was a much more manual approach doing it on the platform, whereas now we have AmazeOwl compiling all of that for us. But that's one way we used to do it, and it's still, I think it's something you should do even with the software tools, is just have a look at your best sellers list every now and then, the movers and shakers, see what's going on the actual platform as well.
Thank you, Danilo and Dan. I want to share something with you guys in light of what they just shared. This is something that we're extremely excited about. Some of you guys saw this in an email I sent out. On Wednesday, myself and business partner Josiah are flying to Shanghai, China. We'll be there for 3 days, and then we're going to Yiwu, China, and we're going to be there for 7 days. Very, very unique part of China. And here's the thing. There's a lot of people talking about how to source, but until you actually go to China, meet with them, it's really, really hard to know for sure, is this working? Now, many of you guys have never been to China, you've sourced, you found a way that works, and that's awesome. We're providing training that goes much further than that. We are going to China to talk to the suppliers and manufacturers. And I'm just going to share a little piece of a little gold nugget you guys can use today, right now. Effective ways for finding a product to sell on Amazon. If you have an inventor mindset, and Mike, I know you do. I see you in the chat. This guy's always got these super cool ideas. And you just spend in each store. It will take you 4.5 years to get through all of them. It's a collection of a ton of shops, and the shops are full. You walk in from the ground floor, every wall and shelves in the middle. They do not waste a square inch of space. The whole place is stacked out with products coming from factories that are in other places like Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and other places in China. Here to Yiwu, where you can buy very low minimum order quantities. Can you guys still hear me okay? The nice thing. So instead of spending, $4,000 on one private label product and you send it to a factory and you hope it does well, if you've done your research, but it's going to be a hard path, what you can do is test multiple products. We have a team in China. They live in Yiwu. And what they do is you can find one of these shops. We're going to go through every product category we can. It's going to be exhausting. I have a translator, someone who take pictures of the products, write them down if I'm interested. At the end of the week, they send me a whole spreadsheet Excel of here are all the products you're interested in, here's the cost. You can get really low MOQ in Yiwu, but you can't customize it. No factories in Yiwu. A lot of people on the internet say there aren't. There are almost none. And the reason for that is Yiwu is where the factories send them to sell them at lower MOQ. In fact, there's several ways you can test. Can you send me a sample? If it takes them longer than 5 days to send it, they're not the factory. If they can send it immediately, they are the factory, you see? So the factory sent it to these shops, and these shops is where you can get ideas. And you can go around and say, okay, I like this one, unique. And you go on your seller app on your phone, and you look for that product and see if it's selling on Amazon. You find out if it's not selling on Amazon, but you are convinced it is something people would like, you de-risk yourself by buying just a couple cartons instead of 500. And then you do this 10 different times with 10 different products. You send them all into Amazon. You run a PPC campaign, and the ads will tell you what people are actually searching for available on Amazon. And if even 3 of those 10 products take off, you already, in the first month or 2, you're going to get all your money back, and then you start making really good money. The nice thing is you're already selling. Then everyone else, a month later, they go to Jungle Scout like, oh, this is cool. You're ahead. You're like, first to market, therefore you get the greatest share. Even if you're not the best, it's better to be first. So this is a different strategy. It has other risks, but also other advantages. Our goal is not to just tell you, here's how to search things on Amazon. First, so you can actually get the right stuff from the suppliers. One more thought, and I love this part. We can find the factory that actually builds it. Most people, most suppliers on Alibaba are not factories. They speak English, they're probably not the factory. Factories are on 1688.com, they speak Mandarin, and they don't speak English, and so you're at a huge disadvantage. Because the factory, or our team in China, can help find actually originally made it, and that removes a lot of the language barrier and so forth. So we're very excited about that. When I'm in China, we're gonna be doing a ton of video, and hopefully by sending it back to by uploading it to, what's it called, Basecamp, US uploads it on YouTube, you can see it, because you're super limited on internet when you're in China. But that's the kind of approach we take to succeed. Eva, thank you so much for being here. This is another Just One Dime member. And thank you for joining this conversation today.
Hi, nice to see you all. Can you hear me?
You're just great. So where are you located, Eva?
I live in the Czech Republic. I live near Prague, which is the capital of the Czech Republic. So far from everybody, but yeah. You guys heard Amanda earlier, Australia. Yeah. Czech Republic. Dan, South Africa. It's in 67, in or from 67 different countries. It's international. A lot of you guys asked in this chat, hey, can you help me if I'm in a different country? Absolutely. That's the wonder of Amazon. Eva, what has been the most encouraging part of selling on Amazon that's helped you the most? And then what's been the biggest challenge that you could share with everyone watching right now? The most encouraging event. I'll start with the second one, the most challenging event. It was actually when I joined in April, so it's been now 5 or 6 months to be a member of this wonderful group. I already had 2 products chosen. I didn't really follow what are you teaching, so they're not doing that great. But when I joined, I actually found a product which I differentiated the way you teach. I just put all the efforts to make it look different to everybody else's, and it's selling great. So the biggest, sorry, what I was talking about was the biggest challenge for me actually was to learn how to differentiate myself and to actually take notes from the first 2 products, which kind of failed, not totally, but kind of failed. But yeah, that was like the biggest challenge for me, to actually learn that you have to be different and you have to add value to the customer to sell more and actually to become a bigger seller, or to generate more income. And the easiest or the most encouraging thing was probably just the whole experience to be a part of this group, because I had so many problems like everybody else has, and it's just so nice not to be alone, particularly when I live totally time-wise totally in a different place, so I can't talk to you exactly at time when I need to talk to you. And it's just so nice when I have a problem and I put it on Facebook and I have straight away answers or helps, like helping people helping me. So that's the most encouraging, I have to say, not being alone and having people helping me and supporting me. And what I like also is to help other people. You know, when I joined, I used to like just post my questions and everything. But now when I'm so happy when I actually see somebody writing, oh, do you know how to do this? And I know the answer. So I straight away type, you know, my answer. And I really enjoy helping other people. And I'm just really happy to be a part of a big family like this.
Well, Eva, thank you for being here today, and thank you for sharing this. And I want to just piggyback on two things she said. One is her first two products sort of failed. She's being real with you guys. She's not flowering it up. Oh, yeah, Amazon's so easy. No, it's not. It's hard. And then you said something else, Eva. You said you have to differentiate. Can you expound on that a little bit? What advice would you give people here? And they don't want to launch a product and it just kind of limps along. What do they do to differentiate themselves so they can trust that product will succeed?
Well, what I did, I really followed what you were teaching or what you were talking about, that I read through every single negative review, because that's the best way, because then you're finding out what people don't like and what they need from the product. And I have a boyfriend who is a racing car like builder, and he is like a mechanic and everything. And we sat down and we cut out in a cardboard exactly how it's going to be, how it's going to look like, how big it's going to be, if it's going to actually fit the things needed to fit. So we made really sure that it's going to follow, or we're going to tackle all the problems the product had, or what the problems that people were talking about. So that was so that's what I think is the main thing, that you have to really listen to people and to the customers of your competitors and make your product better. It also helps you because by the time you actually get to the market, it's going to be totally different to what it was when you started, you know, to search for the product, because there will be definitely more competitors. Price is probably going to be down or lower than when what you thought it's going to be. And you don't want to get to a price war. You really want to stand out by being different and adding more value and just, you know, be different to everybody else. So reach the negative reviews is the main thing, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. I love what you said about studying the negative reviews, because the critical reviews is what the customers are complaining about, and that's for your competitors. So if you can learn what they're doing wrong or not as well as they could, all it is, it's badly set expectations. So someone says, yeah, you're going to love this coffee mug, but the picture's really close and the mug looks huge. I mean, it looks like it's, you know, 3-gallon mug, and they get it and it's this big. But all you had to do was take a picture of that mug with someone holding it. You should have lifestyle anyways, right? So it's about half the size of Seth's face. That gives me perspective right there. That's so easy to fix. It's just a picture. And other stuff could be more extreme, like, you know, the handle, it needs to be less round because I can't get my fat fingers in here. I do this, so I need like a square handle, or it breaks off, or it's too hot to touch in the microwave. This is a special coating, so when you heat it up, it's not burning your hand. There's an idea. Your product, very, very good. I'm going to another question. Everyone, anyone who wants to answer. How long did it take you to generate your first sale on your Amazon store? From the time you opened your account and began to seriously work on it. If you opened your account in 2002, a year ago, that doesn't count. When you actually started working on it, how long did it take you to get your first Amazon store? I'd love everyone to share your answer to this question. And I'll share mine as well.
4 months.
Okay, and was that private label or arbitrage?
Private label.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Alan.
I started with RA, and I saw sales the first month I started sending inventory. But for private label, it probably took me on the research. It took me a little while, like 4 months, because I couldn't decide until somebody pushed me a little bit more to decide on the first product to launch. But RA, it was very fast.
I have kind of a different story on that one, Seth. To me, the dates are not as important as the fact that it seemed like it took forever. I think if I were to look back at the dates, it probably took, you know, maybe a couple weeks, but it just seemed like I got my reviews, I optimized my listing, and I was like, yay, let's go. And it felt like, where is it? What's happening? But yeah, once I troubleshot what was going on, I had a category problem with my product. My PPC was kind of limping along. Once I got all of that fixed, yes, it happened right away.
My case took me about 3 months. I kind of struggled because I rushed the process at the beginning. It's funny, I mean, that product, I struggled so much with that product from the beginning because, again, I rushed the process. But somehow the product is still alive and selling. After several testing, a lot of money invest, PPC, and everything, it works. So it's all about time. You know, some products just won't work because you didn't differentiate enough. But when you have a good product, and you know you have a good product, even when the market is hard, you keep pushing with time and some money, it should work. But just to answer the question, 3 months before my first one.
Me, the first thing was RA. I started with RA, so it was within the first month. I was very happy actually. And after that, I did private label, and it took me 4 months because I had issues with differentiating. I was very detail oriented. I was like, no, it has to be perfect, has to be perfect. I wish I didn't do that, and I really just jumped with it. And from the beginning, I would have had the sale way sooner. But yeah, that's another struggle that I had. Really trying to be very perfect, and doesn't work, guys, in this business. It's good to have it, but you have just to let it go.
This is a good point, and I want to just for a minute camp on this, and I will speak slowly because my internet is my nemesis today. It's my bane. Can you guys hear me right now? You can? Okay, good. All right, hopefully you can hear this. And that is, oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. What were you saying, Saad? Getting perfect. It's like software development, okay? There's some people in this room who are software developers. They know exactly what I'm talking about. I think software development is one of the greatest examples of entrepreneurialism because you don't come out with the perfect product. You know how you know you don't? Because you really don't know if it's perfect until people give you feedback, and you don't get their feedback until you start selling. So you have to be ready and willing to keep adjusting and making it better over time. Hands going, I got to understand and learn everything and watch all the videos. No, get someone who will kick your butt and say, start now, stop waiting. And that actually applies to a really important question. I'm going to throw it out to you guys. Someone asked in Q4, do you know when that gate closes? We all know toys is closed if you haven't sold before September 15th with a certain return rate, but just all the other categories that are not gated. If someone's new to this, selling for Q4, does anyone have anything?
No, I don't think it's late, actually. We're in process of getting another product. I know we're very short in time, but we're trying to get it done right away. We're going to sacrifice a little bit of the artwork for the box, for the outside, but I know we're going to put a sticker. We're going to go to the old days. Remember, we said, just put a sticker on, put your logo on it, but we're going to make sure that the product is good and the differentiating factor is there. And we're expecting to get it here within hopefully 25 days if we finalize everything today. So it is possible.
Seth, I like to remind people that Christmas will come again next year too. And instead of sort of rushing your process, I'm not saying that you should keep going. You should go at your pace. You should continue to move forward. And when your product launches, it launches. If it launches and we're still in the Q4 and you get some of that extra Christmas traffic, great. If not, it's not the end of the world. You will probably find other spike times for your product throughout the coming year. And then you'll already be organized and on the market by Q4 next year.
Seth,
and guys, keep in mind.
I just want to add something, just for a little, very quick. If anybody wants to launch a product in Christmas, especially if they do their studies in Christmas, the data is inflated. So really be careful. Us, we're experienced, so I know what's going on. I got last year problems with that. So just for anybody out there, oh yeah, 25 days, he said, no, just make sure that you really know what's going on, because the data is inflated.
Very, very good point. Excellent point. Right now, if you do product research, as you get closer to Christmas, that data changes and it's not realistic. You need to see what it did last year and over a long period of time. Really good point. Guys, listen, if you are worried about getting in for the fourth quarter, here's what you need to do. Buy a bunch of stuff, send it in, and sell it. Drop the price, beat everyone's price, don't make money, just sell it. Just start selling it. So that way you actually have a track record. Right now, there is no cutoff date that Amazon has announced, to my knowledge. And for the toys, you sold a certain number and had a low return rate before September 15th to do. But if you're not putting all your hope in that product category and you're new, you need to start now. Send them in, sell stuff. Then while that's going, you can start working on your private label business. You still have an opportunity to get that out. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Any last words of advice before you go and we bring in Mondo? Oh, and she's gone. All right. Mondo, thank you so much for being here. Can you hop on your video? And we want to see you and talk to you and welcome you to this live interview. There's only 20,000 people watching right now. Just joking. Yep, that was your mic. And then hit the video button at the top and we should be able to see you. It looks like a camera right at the top of your Google Hangouts. Guys, Mondo is another person on our team. Mondo is part of Just One Dime. We invited some people we thought would be really, really helpful to give you guys some tips and advice and share their experience being in this community. And we can't see you. I don't know if your camera's working, but say something. Some technical issues, so hopefully he'll be back soon. So just let us know, Mondo, once you get back. Okay, guys. Let me ask you this. What advice would you give to people who've been selling for a while, but they want to scale? New. They've been doing this for a while. And they feel like they're kind of stuck in a rut because they're doing the same things every day and they're making decent money in Amazon, expanding like they want. What advice would you give to them? How do they keep growing their business without it killing their margin? On Amazon and become a slave to Amazon, just like we were a slave to our 9-to-5 soul-crushing boss. What advice would you give to them for that?
So I like to start.
I think that periodically you have to review your product, your costs, look at what you're doing. I think you want to take your products that are selling and say, okay, go back and review what costs am I getting from my supplier? Where am I buying my packaging? Where am I buying my shipping materials? Everything. And go back and see if there's places there where you can whittle things down. That will increase your profit margin. The other thing that's going to increase your profit margin is to buy in greater volume. So take a look at your sales and see if they can support you buying in greater volume, and then go back to your supplier and say, okay, I want to double my volume, but I want you to give me a better price, and see, so that would be my advice, is to try to whittle things down so that your profit margin gets bigger in little increments.
And so from my broader perspective, like before this, I would say, because that was actually what happened to me. I joined this community. I was number 35, but I was selling on Amazon already. And the reason why I joined this community is because I wanted to scale my business, remember? So I realized that in order to scale my business, exactly what you were asking, was to be part of a community of people. And for me, that's such a big deal. I needed to be part of a community of people. I needed to be able to ask questions to somebody whenever I needed, because that's what I was missing. Anytime I had a question, man, I had to spend like an hour on internet just to, I don't know, watch webinars, watch videos on YouTube or whatever thing, just to get the answer that I needed. And right now I do the opposite process. I have a question, I just post on the Facebook group and I get answers, and that's what really helped me to keep moving forward at a faster pace. And that's what I was missing at the beginning. So for me to scale, I need to be part of a community of people, and that's what really helped me transition to the next level.
And that's such a great point. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Danilo. When you were trying to scale your business and grow it bigger so you're not stuck in a rut, 4 hours trying to figure out, is this going to work? Will it not work? I don't know. Watch this YouTube video. Watch this YouTube video. Go to this chat forum. Or community where people can answer today. uncommon for people to give 20, 30 answers to one question. And these are solid, helpful answers. Where the question is, hey guys, I'm feeling discouraged today, help me out. Or how do you do this? How does this work? I lost the buy box. What do I do? People jump in like crazy. Here's a screenshot of how to do this. It saves you time, and time is an asset you don't get a refund on. So it saves you time. And back to what Christine said, and Christine, you made me think of something too. If you are buying a product that is a core product, by that I mean something people will use for the next 100 years most likely. I don't think people are going to stop using cell phone cases for a very long time. That's true. The size has changed. You have to update that part. Stop using cups and coffee mugs for a very long time. I don't think they will stop using, I'm just grabbing random products, how do you like this, wallets for a long time. So what you do is you find a core product. Used it for hundreds of years, they will still use it many years in the future, and you make it a lot better and differentiate it. Christine said it becomes passive income, because now that you got it going, you've ranked it, you got your reviews. If you need some reviews in a legitimate way, we have a proprietary process to help you with that. So you're not waiting 4 months to get your first review. And reviews is very low. Even if you're selling fast, it takes a long time. Imagine getting 25 to 30 reviews within a few weeks. It's incredible. Find a core product, something people will keep using probably for a long time. You make it better, and then you don't have to change out products. You just improve the one you have. If you have a good factory, they can adjust it and keep making it better for you. They're making money, you're making money. Now you keep adding to your product line, and once you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 76 products going, passive, and you have time to do other things as well as put on more products. Susan, were you going to say something, or someone else?
Seth, go ahead. Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Alan. I just wanted to touch on a very crucial element that I think most people don't pay attention to, and it's your product's packaging. Product packaging is not only there to protect your product, but it's also a tool. It's an advertising tool, and you should pay much more attention to that, because it really is how a buyer engages with the product. Of course, if you're on the newsstand and then on a retail stand, it's easier because people will see your packaging. If we have our product listed on Amazon, most of the time the packaging is not going to be the first photo that they see. It will probably be the second, the third, or the fourth photo. But getting a return customer is much easier than getting a new customer. So someone who opened the Amazon box, the brown box, and then sees a beautiful packaging with your website on it that is designed with your demographic in mind, where it clearly states what the product does, whether it contains ingredients or what is helpful, what are the pros and advantages of getting that product. Before you even open the box, you should know what the product is. Because if you order 5 products, you have no idea what's in that brown box. If you see the packaging and it's beautifully designed, it has the logo and the website big there, it really creates a good impression. And it's much easier that customer will search for your website, which hopefully you have, and buy refill for your product, or get extra products for probably a lesser price than they find on Amazon. So that's why it's so important to sell in different platforms and create a brand where you can really expand. So when you create your packaging for your product, have in mind what will be your next product or your second or third product, and create a line that you're able to expand and grow.
Great. And Seth, if I can, sorry, Alan, go ahead.
No, just coming back to what Christine was saying about the numbers, I think it's very important to know the numbers, but also focus on working your listings and your products, because we've been seeing that with some of the products. Like if you know that your product makes a certain percentage of net profit, selling let's say 10 units per day, and you focus on trying to get in that same product to 15 units a day, you can increase your net profit, for the month or for the year. That's gonna scale your business, not just by adding more products, but by optimizing your listing. And you can use different tools to do that. But it's a basic calculation, and you can be amazed of working on a listing that is it's performing at 25% net profit with 15 units a day. If you can get it at 30% net profit with 20 units a day, the huge difference on profit on just one product, that if you focus on working and knowing your numbers, it's a big benefit or a big advantage for your business just by doing that.
Sure, and then I just wanted to add to what Susan and Alan have said here, but I think actually building out your niche is also quite important. So I know some of the coaches actually have like a really niche down little industry of products, and they build out that little niche and focus on that. And I know that can be a little bit difficult in the beginning when you're just starting out with like your first products, because now you're looking at specific criteria. So it's difficult to see the big picture. But I think when you get to the point of wanting to scale, then you want to start looking at a specific industry that you will target of related products. This way you can do, you can have a good theme for your website. You can build good email lists with targeted subscribers. You can even run Facebook ads. And then even on the Amazon platform, you've got things like your headline search ads, where you could have those related products showing up as well. So I think scaling down the line, I don't think you should worry about it with your first product, but down the line, a group and niching down with related products can be quite important.
Someone in the chat had mentioned, I think it was Kiersey, my concern is that Amazon is saturated with experienced sellers. I would love to hear your guys' response to that.
There's no saturated market. When you are on a marketplace, this way of saturation, it's a little bit overused and in the wrong way. There will always be room for differentiation. Always, 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 for any type of product, always. So there's this thing that, this is going to be rough, but losers say the market is saturated. There's never going to be saturated. So you always can do better. Find the product, sell it, make it better. Trust me, it's going to work.
And the thing too, the word saturation is sometimes misused. Saturation would mean, there are no, I'm going to use the coffee mug example again. Everyone's drinking a coffee mug. There's so many sellers of coffee mugs. No one's buying coffee mugs. But Amazon, it's confusing it. Amazon is a platform for selling just about anything, a specific industry. So if you're going to say saturation, you would say the market for coffee mugs that are made out of porcelain is saturated. That makes sense. To say Amazon is saturated doesn't, because Amazon is a platform industry. It's any industry. And since people are always going to be buying, the only way for Amazon to actually get saturated is to stop buying stuff. But then we wouldn't be human. See, here's what's saturated. What they're doing. And I mean that in all respect. That's what's saturated. This should encourage you guys. There are so many Amazon sellers right now that the urging of them, this is zero. Amazon seller is zero. Well, what does that tell you? The few who know what they're doing are making a ton of money. That's why Just One Dime exists. Go ahead, David.
I was about to say exactly that. If you look to the numbers, most Amazon fail. I don't want you guys to get scared, but that's right. That's the reality, and that's something good for us that know what we're doing. Every time that I meet my members every day, I tell them the same: respect the business. Most Amazon sellers don't respect the business because they just choose a product just to go the easy way. They want to make quick money, go China, buy a piece of crap over there, then put on sales, and then sit down and wait for the money to rain. It doesn't work that way anymore. That's a reality. So in order to make money, you need to know what you're doing. You need to do a good differentiation job, create something special. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's when you learn how to do it, it becomes easy. If you don't know what you're doing, obviously, you most likely are going to fail. But there's no such thing as a saturated market nowadays in Amazon. There's just so many products. Just look around the room that you are now. Just look around. So many products all over the place. So yeah.
Really good point. All right, Mondo. Let's try your mic and let's try your video. How are you, Mondo? Mondo, can you hear us? No. All right, let's jump to Bob. Bob, good afternoon almost. Maybe it's afternoon for you. Bob, where are you located?
Right back on here. Oh,
we can hear you.
Okay, I'm in Western New York. It's 12:20 here. So I'm an hour after you.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here today, Bob. So tell us, what has your experience been on Amazon, and what advice would you give to someone who's considering selling on Amazon? I know you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, it's been almost 3 years. I started in November, which was a fortunate thing to do at the time I did it. The restrictions weren't there that are now for having more experience to start with. I was lucky enough to, I started out with an empty credit card. I started selling on Amazon off that credit card, and I got 2 payments from Amazon before the card came due. The first payment on the card was $840, and I had over $1,200 in my checking account from Amazon already. It matter of good timing, I think, and less restrictions than now, but the restrictions are not a bad thing. After about 6 months of doing that, I got my son started in it. He's been doing eBay and other things as well, and he got started on it, and it worked so well for him that he just went by me in a matter of a few months. He's way ahead of me now, and he's got a full-time job and 3 kids, 1 on the way. I'm retired. I'm doing this kind of for fun and extra retirement money.
I want to say I really like your shirt.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you guys hear what he said? So it sounds like he didn't have money to start with, so he took his card and he started doing arbitrage. He bought products, used it on his card, and he had $1,200 in his account 2 payments later, but $840 on the card. It tells you you can practically start with nothing on Amazon. For those of you guys who are going, man, I only got a penny, or I got $2. Stop complaining and go do something with that. Get a credit card, or if you want, go around, sell a bunch of stuff until you have enough capital to make your first purchase. Here's the thing. If you wanted to start a regular brick and mortar business, $20,000, more like $100,000 just to get started, and it would take you at least a year with most businesses to be profitable. Take that perspective, go to Amazon and go, oh my goodness, I can make money in 3 months or faster. Or like Alan said, when you're doing arbitrage, you can get your money back in a month. The way I did it is I started selling books. I had a ton of books. And within the first month, I started making money. Then I took these earns that I was selling in eBay, and I started selling them on Amazon. Those started very slow because I didn't get social proof. I didn't have reviews. It took a long time. But once it started picking up and it started selling 10 and more times a day, then I got really excited and thought, oh my goodness, this really works. What advice would you give to someone when comparing arbitrage, private label? How would you compare those, and what advice? Because a lot of people are asking, should I start with retail arbitrage? Should I do private label? What do you think?
I think arbitrage is absolutely necessary to learn how to get started before you get into private label. I see a lot of people come into private label that have no Amazon experience at all, and I think the arbitrage course would be a good preliminary course for the whole thing, or even could be combined with it. It's good to have some experience with Amazon and know how buying and selling works, how FBA works versus FBM before you get into private label, and you'll understand a lot more about what there is to learn for private label with the background going into it. The questions will be easy to see the answer to the questions before the questions come up. And the nice thing about the course, about both courses, is the team aspect of it and everybody helping each other. you're sharing experience with each other, and it like accelerates the whole experience process.
And for someone who just asked, what is that RA you guys mentioned? So retail arbitrage, where you go out and buy stuff at discount and you sell it on Amazon at a higher price and you make money on the difference. If you are struggling, you have hardly any money, start with arbitrage. Take the Just One Dime arbitrage course. If you have a few thousand, start with private label. We'll make more money. It is up to you guys what you want to do. Bob is 100% correct. If you start with arbitrage, you know the system really, really well. However, it's not as scalable as private label. Once you have your coffee mug selling a whole lot, you don't have to keep going to the store and sourcing. You just keep selling and you keep making money. And now you're just worried about making sure your inventory doesn't run out, which is a really good problem to have. Can you coaches, this will be kind of fun. We'll start with Alan. You start this. Take us through every stage of the process from beginning to end of building business on Amazon. So Alan, you just share the first part into the next part, and you guys just feed off of what the last person said. Imagine I'm brand new. Teach me, guys, how do I do it from beginning? Give me an overview structure. What am I going to do first? Alan, you start. We'll just go across. I don't know if you guys are in the same as I see. So whoever wants to jump in next can do that in order.
Okay, so I think for me, the first thing is to open an Amazon account, and there's two different accounts, or actually there's two different levels. You can open an account and just register for free, and that will give you an option to just start listing products, and every time you sell something, Amazon will charge you 99 cents. And if you sell 10 items, it's $10. But then once you get to 40 items, or if you're planning to do this as a business, we recommend to do $40 a month, which is the professional account, where Amazon gives you access to business reports and more tools on your back office. And then you can sell as many units as you want. They don't charge you. They don't charge you any fees. So those are the two different accounts that you have when you open your account, and that's I would say the first step.
Okay, you set up your account. You have two options. What's next, team?
I would say finding the product, but before finding the product, studying a lot. You need to prepare yourself before going to that next step. Let's say you watch your videos, you already know what's a good product, what is a bad product, and then trying to find the best market possible. It can take time. It's a frustrating process. It's bored. Sometimes you spend hours looking for products in AmazeOwl and you just can't find what you're looking for. But it is what it is. So that would be my next step. Just focus on finding the right market, the right product.
Okay, so we have the two account options. You set them up. You set up one of them. Then you have to find your product. What market are you going to be selling in? Okay, what's the next step, guys? What would you do after that?
Then you want to start contacting suppliers and negotiating your costs, and that process is a whole process. I remember when I did this the first time, and I thought, well, what's the big deal? I'm going to send out a couple emails, ask a couple questions. I'm going to get some answers, and then we're going to go from there. Not necessarily. So that's a whole process in and of itself. You want to reach out to a number of different suppliers, and you're going to go back and forth and negotiate a price with them. And at the same time, you're starting to develop a relationship with whichever suppliers you think you're going to deal with. And ultimately, there's a little bit of a kind of a nuance to it, a kind of a personal feel to the communication, and that's what helps you choose your supplier. And then once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and place your order.
All right, so you find a supplier, you place your order. Go ahead, Saad, what were you going to say?
Yes, I mean, once you contact the supplier and find the differentiating factor that you want to do because you want to improve in your product when you find it, I think it's very important, guys, you really get this down to be able to get a product with better quality or whatever the bad review says, just to be able to differentiate your product. After that, you will need to work on the launch strategy to be able to get the product shipped to Amazon warehouse, and then you need to know how to launch the product. I think this is where actually the most of people are not doing or lacking, because they don't have experience, or they don't invest into a course or not invest into a community. So what happens, they'll be able to do all this process, but when it comes to launch stage, I think they struggle. And that's where it becomes everyone who's not experienced with launch strategy, they're going to think it's the price issues. So they just keep lowering the price and they crash the market. But instead of working on other aspect of the listing or the launch to be able to maintain your profit margins. So I would think launch and investing into a good community and a good course. I wish I had that before instead of me, cost me a lot of money.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to recap it. So first, you have to set up an account. You can do it in a personal seller's account, as Alan said. Next step is you need to research, as David said. You need to find a product. I'm going to reverse it a little bit. What Saad said, differentiate it. After you find it, make sure you're differentiating so you're beating the competition. Buyer, you're going to source the product, as Saad said. And when you launch it, I encourage you, have reviews on there already. In our course, we teach 7 hacks to help get you to the first page of search results to rank it as fast as possible. So you're not waiting 3 months to start getting 2 sales a day. You can get it faster that way. And if you've done a good job, what's next? So now we've launched it. What do I do now? It's launched. Do I just wait? Am I done? Help me out.
Yeah, so basically when you launch your product, you got to hang tight for the first 3 or 4 weeks at least. It's going to be like more difficult at the beginning because your listing is not going to show anywhere on the research pages. It's going to be like all the way down to page 20 or whatever. So you need to work your way up to page 1 or as close as possible to page 1. To do this, you need to start getting sales, okay? And we help you with this because in our community we have a proprietary system that we can get you sales and help you boost your bestseller ranking. At the same time, get some good reviews. And that's like for the first 2 or 3 weeks at least. That you need to be push hard, be patient, and try to build your way up to page 1. And once you get to page 1, then the funny part happens. At the point you're on page 1, it's where 70% of the sales happens on that very page, and you want to try to be as aggressive as possible. You can use multiple options. You can use effectively sponsor ads to be able to stay on the top of page 1, which is where the majority of sales happens between the first 3 spots. And in that situation, you gotta still, you gotta be aggressive. You have to try to be on that top of the page as much as possible. Tweaking your listing, split testing, make sure that the pictures are on point. See, for example, what pictures is selling more, which one works better. If you have to improve the title, bullet points. For me, that's like the funniest part of the whole Amazon journey. When you actually launch a product, it's so exciting, and then you need to build your way all the way up to page 1. Yeah, those will be like the final steps.
And guys, our goal is not to show you simply how to get a product selling, get it out on Amazon, because what good is it if you spend all this time and all this money and just sits there? I can't tell you how many emails I get every day. Hey, this product is sitting here, it's not selling, what do I do? And I'm like, get help or find another coach who can actually help you get that selling. You want to get it on the front page. You're going to get far more success buy rate when most people, they're going to buy on the first page. They're going to go down and hit page 2. Because they trust it more and it has reviews and has social proof. All right, now what? So it's selling. Okay, my product, it's selling 25 times a day, 30 times a day, 50 times a day. Now what do I do? Is there anything else I need to do for my product? Help me out here.
I would say one thing very important for the business. Don't get profit. Don't get the money out of it. I had to wait like a year before I would get my first money. And don't just get profit. Like my wife was asking me, okay, Danilo, but when are you going to start to get some profit? I was like, we cannot do this now. You gotta hold on that. If I get profit, I'm not gonna be able to launch new products or like expand my actual products or make them better. So once you see money coming in, don't get too excited. Hold on. You gotta be tough at it. You gotta be strong at the time. Invest the money in the business and try to launch a second product. Or maybe since you have more knowledge, try to launch 2 products at the same time. Prove yourself with something that looks bigger than you, but it's actually not bigger than you. And see what happens. You need to keep scaling and be patient at the beginning, guys.
And once you do that and you begin to scale, how do you scale? Anyone? What do you do?
That's a nice question, man. There can be multiple answers. But I mean, I don't want to talk too much. So you guys go ahead.
Everyone else is let Danilo take it. He's got it. It's fine. But does anyone else want to help? Like, what do you do to scale? You don't want to just a business that stays the same. How do you keep growing it so it never stops growing? One of the most important aspects to growing a business, everyone, is you don't want your business to stay the same. If you get it to a point where you're satisfied and it stays here, chances are it's going to start doing this. You know why? Because other people are going to keep making theirs better. So you have to keep improving and expanding on Amazon.
Seth, I think that one metrics that you can use for scaling your business on Amazon is the number of products that you launch, or how quickly you launch more products. So trying to compare this to returns in some other business, when you're laying out your plan for the coming year, what you want to do is calculate how many products will I launch each quarter. And theoretically, if you are launching successfully and you're going through this whole procedure that we just talked about, and you're going through it, each time you go through it, you should go a little bit faster. That will show you how you're going to scale your business. So say you get one product up and running, everything's great, and you're getting like $2,000 a month. Well, then theoretically, you can do that again. And every time you do it, you're going to get another $2,000 a month added to your overall business income, well, your revenue. So that's one way to look at scaling your business. Of course, as we mentioned before, you don't want to fall into the trap of, just continually launching products and never quite getting them up and running really well.
Seth, another thing that I would like to add, guys, is okay, once you get to the initial goal of making sales, the listing is going very well, you need to at that point expand possibly outside of Amazon and started to get some leads from outside of Amazon, and don't just rely on the Amazon platform, meaning build your website and try to make some sales over your website and get traffic to your website. Run Facebook ads. Get people to know about your brand through Facebook ads, for example, that can lead to a product sale. Build up your social media pages that can talk about your brand. Talk to your future customers about your story. Like, what is the story about your brand? Why are you special? Why are you better than the others? Why should people buy from you? What's the reason? So explain that to them, and that's going to help you to expand. So you want to start from Amazon, get to the point that you're selling, and then how do I go to the next level? And this is the way you can do. Outside of Amazon, don't just focus on Amazon, but build extra leads from outside.
This is a really good point, because someone asked this exact question in the chat. They said, what about eBay? What about Jet? What about Walmart? What about all these other places? Guys, your end goal is not to sell on Amazon. Your end goal is to develop brand value and brand loyalty. And that's exactly what Danilo's talking about. Again, I'll talk about the Just One Dime team. You can still do this either way. We just help you get there faster and better. I guarantee you. We teach you how to get their emails. Other ways to do it, so that you have a very massive email list of customers who love your product. And every time you launch a new product, they know. You send out an email blast through a system so it doesn't look at it as spam. They want to get the next product, and they start remembering, oh yeah, this brand, Danilo Productions or Sagara Inc., that's the company I love. I remember that company. They gave me the most amazing product. I want it. And so now you start developing brand loyalty. And here's the beautiful part, and it's hard and a long path, but you can do it. People will go to Amazon.com and they will actually search your brand. Shoe, it's like they searched Nike, but they start searching your brand. That's incredible. And I'm not going to share the company, but there's in the back of my mind, there is this company, it's outdoor sports company, and it's amazing. People, if you go into keyword tools that show you what's being searched, or use Keyword Tool Dominator, shows you that brand being searched on Amazon. A lot of work that this guy did to get to that point, and a result of using the hacks and getting the reviews and all of that stuff. All right, well, we're about to introduce another guest. Bob, thank you so much for being here today, brother, and thank you for your advice. I love what you said, how you started. Apparently you didn't have this extra cash, so you took a credit card. Use that to buy. You had $1,200 in your account. You had $800 something on your credit card. You were already making money immediately. That's what I love about the system, and that's the power of arbitrage. So
That's
any last
right.
words,
It
Bob,
works.
before we let you go?
It works, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, brother, for being
Yep.
here. Close out, we'll hang out. That way we can have Henning and Dee Dee come on in, because it only lets us to have so many people on video. And thank you again, Bob. Guys, I want to introduce to you Henning and Dee Dee. Henning, feel free to, can you hear us okay, Henning? Awesome. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you are. Hi, Seth.
Good to see you, man. So Henning is here. I want to tell you something, Henning. You don't know this, and I'm saying this live in front of a whole bunch of people. The coaches were bragging on you here. So
okay.
Why would they brag on you? And what's the reason they would brag on you?
I'm not sure, actually.
On the spot, brother. Tell us, how are you doing on Amazon? How are things going? I heard about a launch or something.
Yeah, I mean, we launched our first product officially, and in our first week, we're really just crushing it. We're super amazed. Yeah, we're barely into our first month. We've run out of inventory. We're scrambling to get more products from our supplier, and they're working hard to get it to us. But we're just doing really good on our first product so far.
So I'm going to take just a moment here. I don't want to make this all about Just One Dime, but to brag on Just One Dime, how did Just One Dime help you do that? And I know, and I say this fully aware, Henning, you have to have the grit and the work and the discipline to make it happen. I can't make you successful. None of these coaches can. So you had to own your stuff and work hard to make it happen. But having said that, getting help along the way doesn't hurt you do this effectively.
Well, we actually started just watching the Just One Dime videos on YouTube, just whatever was publicly available. And because we didn't have the cash initially to start on a formal program. So we used that as a guide, and we just, saved up that, the money to start an actual course. And so we followed a lot of the techniques that Just One Dime gave us. But initially, we started out just scouring the internet, looking for any little bit of information we can get. And we found several other training programs, and to me it seems very, I mean, you kind of describe it in some of your videos, but they're sort of like, here's the information, good luck. And it's not very, there's no interaction, you can't really communicate with them. They just give you a packet and off you go. What we saw in the videos that you were posting is that everything was very interactive, that you took feedback from the community, and everyone was actually seemed to be helping each other out. And we saw that, and we were working really hard to get into that group. And now that we're in the group, we're like, yes, this is the greatest thing we could have done, because now we have all the tools at our disposal that we sort of had to source and find ourselves. And sometimes you don't even know if what you're finding on the internet is accurate, or is it still up to date, because everything changes all the time, and you have to stay up to the latest trends and techniques. And I think joining a group like Just One Dime is really the best way to go to accelerate your entire process.
And you mentioned you're crushing it. Are you okay to give specific numbers? You said you're about to run out of inventory. How much inventory did you start with?
So we started with, we started with 500 units, which I think is kind of the standard for just kind of trying out that initial order. We ran into the Chinese holiday schedule, so it took us a little longer to reorder. But we started with 500 units when we sold out basically within a week. Right now, I think our last numbers, we were actually around $4,000 in our first week. So,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, really good profit margins as well. So
huge congrats to you, man, because I know you don't just find a random product, it looks good, and you go to AliExpress or Alibaba or DHgate and find a supplier and start selling and make all that money. That requires hard work. That requires a lot of forethought and thinking and differentiating. So huge congrats to you, brother. You have my respect. That's amazing, you guys. $1,000 in a week in revenue, sold 500 units almost out in a week. That's incredible. Guys, that's the kind of business you want to build on just one dime. So I'm going to share this before we only have a few more minutes. So I'm going to share this really quickly. Those of you guys who decide to join Just One Dime, we will coach you 4 hours, live coaching. And if you get the silver program, you also get a monthly face-to-face meeting with a coach. And that coach will continue to work with you. Every month, you get one meeting with the coach, the same coach, so they can track your progress and give you feedback and look at your product and help you out. Our dream is an army of entrepreneurs around the world who can invest, who can give back, who can help each other, who can use integrity and principles of business that will last, who can actually impact the world. Can you imagine what it'd be like to know someone in France, someone in Germany, someone in Mexico, someone in Canada, someone in the United Kingdom, someone in South Africa, networking and helping each other out and sharing ideas, or even becoming a business partner with them? That's part of what Just One Dime is like. It's not just a community of entrepreneurs who are crushing it. Thank you for sharing that. Now, here's my next question. How long have you been selling on Amazon, and what advice would you give to other people who just started, Henning?
My advice would be, you know, don't just go and scour randomly. Follow a structured plan if possible. The Just One Dime program is very, very structured. It shows you exactly where you start, what's the first steps. A lot of things have dependencies on what you start with, so it's best to follow that specifically. If you do want to start out, what we did just to get our feet wet is we actually just went to Costco and bought some products that we saw had a good profit margin. So we got into that retail arbitrage just to kind of really experiment and experience the Amazon kind of machine, like how everything works. So we just bought a couple of things, sold it on Amazon just to get our feet wet. And I mean, we sold that out within 2 or 3 weeks. This was early on in the training program that we went through. And we really didn't set out to make a profit. We just wanted to get the inventory moving, get some sales on our account, and to really just experience what it's all about. And going through that process, you hit a few snags here and there, and you look up, you know, how do you send inventory to Amazon? Like, how do you price things? How do you manage your inventory? And that's all, you know, laid out very well in the program. But we really just did that on purpose to try and figure out how it works. I personally learned best when I hit my head a couple of times and I figure out how to move forward. But I think, yeah, that to me, that was a really good learning experience. And I think a lot of other people can benefit from that.
And someone's asking in the chat, Henning, what do you feel was a factor to your success? Like, what were some specific things you did? Was it maybe the photos? Was it PPC ads? Was it finding the right keywords? Was it like, could you share just some of the strategies you used moving so quickly and to generate? See, Didi's here as well. Welcome, Didi. Feel free just to jump on audio and video in this conversation.
Actually, I'd like Didi to answer that question.
Nice. Go ahead. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, you're gonna have to repeat that question. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties on my side.
Yeah, no problem. Henry was just talking about this extreme success, which is awesome that you guys did. So someone asked the question, what are some of the strategies you guys used for your launch that made it so effective? Like, if you were to go back and say, okay, so we did 500 units in a week, we generated 4,000. What did we do that made that work? What were some of the forethoughts you guys put into that? Was it specific keywords? And if so, how did you find them? Was it photos? And how did you get the photos? Was it differentiation? How did you know how to differentiate? If you guys could just, how did you use that? Would be awesome.
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of it was preparation, but to be honest with you, a lot of it was, I don't want to call it luck, but Henning and I definitely prayed about this before, because the pieces honestly just fell together between the training and discussions. We have like awesome supplier from the beginning. But the one thing that I think that really helped with the launch and especially the ranking is that we kind of took our time with it. I'm a very scheduled, I like writing things down and have steps. So I had my listing written out long before, as I was looking at competitors, trying to think, okay, so people say this is what's bad. So what are the things that I want to focus on? That I want to make sure this is what we have. This is what makes us better, unique. And then also having the samples had testers, right? People that we know and we trust to actually look at these products that we have and give us their honest feedback and see, okay, so is what we want to do, does it make sense? Will it work? Will it do what we want it to do? Because we don't want to say that we're this awesome product and then people come back and say, no, it really sucks. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Exactly. And then, like I said, with the keywords and things like that, doing a lot of the research beforehand and just kind of looking at what made other people successful and trying to figure out how to work on that. And following the steps that you guys laid out for us, we were able to do a slow, I call it a pre-launch, with some other people to slowly work up our sales, as opposed to just all of a sudden say, boom, world, here we are, but to slowly kind of work on that, getting the exposure out there. And yeah, that's kind of
yeah, that's really incredible. One of the most encouraging things to me is to see a couple work on this together and to make it happen. And it has to be so satisfying when you guys see the results of your work. Like, oh my goodness, look, we're making it happen. I mean, you guys started with no experience and now you're here. That's amazing. And I want to say, coaches, thank you for being so badass in helping them back and the help and everything you guys do to make this possible. I mean, can you guys imagine what it would be like? We're at really close to 1,000 members right now. Can you imagine what it would be like 10 years from now? Life's changed because I had to do something, become an entrepreneur, build something different, have margin, and actually have wealth, actually be able to go and buy a Tesla, and it's not a big deal. That kind of freedom is incredible. Okay, so we have just a few minutes left. I want to ask the coaches, share any final advice that you have. And one more time, this is the last time I'm going to share everyone on the team. I'm going to be direct. If you want to get help, we will help you scale faster. Join the team. You get the silver package, passive income at the coupon box at checkout. You will get $50 off that first payment. This includes 4 hours of weekly life coaching. It includes monthly coaching and a ton more, a ton more. So do that. If you are sitting on the fence, I want to push you over the other edge and say, guys, join us. We will help you. We will help you succeed. Coaches, what final advice do you have for people here? Anyone? What would you say? How would you encourage them? Anything you feel?
I want to help people make that decision because I remember being at that point and saying to myself, do I or don't I? Should I join the group or shouldn't I? Should I pay for this coaching or shouldn't I? And I struggled with that probably like everyone else is. And I want to tell you from this side of that decision, it was the best decision I could have made. There is no way I would be selling on Amazon right now if it weren't for this group. And I've learned a ton, and the camaraderie within this group is so important to me that I would not choose to not sell. I would not choose to not be in the group. At some point I thought, well, I'll sign up for a while. I'll learn what I need to know. I'll be successful. I'll kind of go on my way. I don't want to go on my way. My way now is with Just One Dime. I can't imagine doing this by myself.
I would say, yesterday Danilo, Sada, and myself, we have a meeting. We were talking about an hour. We were talking how our life has changed over a year. I mean, and I feel old, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just crazy. So yes, this has been the best decision I ever made in my life. I have accomplished more in a year that I mean, the rest of me, I can look back 30 years behind, and I never did something like what I'm doing right now. I feel blessed. I think, yes, if you're thinking about changing your life, I would recommend you to join us. It's not gonna be easy. We don't lie to you guys. It's gonna be hard. You gotta work really hard, but you have 1,000 people behind you ready to help you out. So yeah.
I think the advantage that I see by being part of the community, for me, it's been being able to don't make as many mistakes as if I was just doing it by myself. And I tried that at the beginning. So having a community where I can ask questions and see those mistakes before, you know, or learn by other people's experiences, that for me it's been a lot better. I've been able to just grow and move faster by learning and having those experiences. So for me, that's been the best experience, and why we recommend people to join the group.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. I just want to say to our future members, if you guys are serious about this business, you guys want to get involved into this business model, join the community. There's 1,000 people that can help you with that. This business, it's not easy. It's not gonna happen like overnight or in a month. It requires a lot of work, effort from you, but you won't be alone, and that's the biggest thing. So if you guys want to sell on Amazon, are you interested to do that? Be part of this community. Be part of this group. We're gonna help a lot. You're gonna love it, and that's my biggest advice, guys. Don't be alone. Don't try to do things by yourself for too long. That is not gonna take you anywhere. You need help. We all need help, and we make things happen when we work together.
Yes, actually, I agree with Danilo and everyone else. I think you just need to start. You need to invest in a good community support system that's really going to help you to go to the next level, especially with people that really procrastinate. They usually, because they will do everything by themselves and think they can figure out. This is going to take them longer time to be able to accumulate all the information, the experiences, the bad fails that we had. We had a lot of failures that maybe we don't talk about, but we did have them, but that's how we learn from them. And you'll be able to learn from every one of us. All the mistakes that we have done is already going to get it in a good way, in a very supportive way. And there's no BS. It's going to be, we're going to tell you what it is and how it's going to be, but for sure with respect and with honesty. Other than that, I really encourage everybody to join that business. Amazon business is great and changed our life tremendously. And I wish you the same, guys.
And I would just add to that, I agree with all of you. I couldn't have said that any better. But I would just like to add that you can do it from, the far-flung places. If you're somewhere where there isn't Amazon, don't give up on it. You can do it. And wherever you join up, I would suggest getting a community, get some like-minded people. That's what was so important for me at the beginning, was because I'm in a place where this type of business model is not known at all. Becoming a part of Just One Dime was huge for me, because now I know I've got these people I can collaborate with. There's people far ahead in the process that I can learn from. And if that's something that's important to you, then definitely get involved with the group. But if you're somewhere and you're thinking you can't do it because of location, don't give up on it, but consider joining a group, because it's gonna help you get there. But I've loved the journey, so thank you, guys.
I'd like to add to that the way I see it is, this is an investment on your business. It's just like going to college. It's a much larger investment, actually. And you're not alone on this. The program actually provides the tool to help you succeed. We have from your logo building, from your creating your website, to sourcing, to photography, 3D rendering, you name it, and it keeps growing. unlike other programs, what I noticed is that there is constant live support, constant live coaching, and it's curated. You know, the information is up to date, it's constantly improving, just like Amazon is changing the rules, you know, every day. The information that we have access to is constantly changing and getting updated. And the support that you get from the group, from, you know, it's not just the 8-10 people that are here, but it's the close to 1,000 members that are part of the group, is immediate. You know, every time you post a question, you get responses pretty much immediately. Nowhere else you get that. So this is a really good investment.
Coaches, thank you for being here today. Everyone, I hope that you've found a ton of value in this training that we're doing. We wanted to do a 2-hour marathon webinar to teach you everything we can and to brag about Just One Dime, to show you this is sort of like an inside picture of how we work. You can see how we work together. You can even see how the coaches, like, they talk at the same time, like, oh no, you go first. Like that kind of respect, but speaking the truth and not worrying about stepping on people's toes. That's the kind of mentality you want for a business. To me at a very young age, and this is my last comment, your mentor. So put yourself under someone whom you want to be like. You'll be your own style. You'll be your own personality from your mentors. You start to mirror them and have the same results when you follow them. Find people who are crushing it, who are succeeding. Those people are legit and they can help you. And that's what Just One Dime is all about. Love you guys. Coaches, you guys are awesome. You're like family to me. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Henning and Didi. You guys have an awesome rest of your day and keep crushing it today if you want us to help everyone. See you guys later.